Like in any relationship, especially mine, I thought we had the best communication. Like, I was so proud of how we communicated. Like, that's a part of what made me trust him. I have been harmed by men in my past, and in many ways. And so it's hard for me to trust. It's hard for me to like truly love. And so people will look at him and look at me and be like, I don't understand the correlation. It must be the money. How? I already had a lot of the stuff that I have now then anyway.
It's crazy how quickly everything can fall apart when you least expect it. One moment, you're standing in a place that feels like home, surrounded by walls filled with laughter, memories, and dreams you thought would last forever. And the next moment, you're being told you have to walk away from it all, like none of it ever truly belonged to you. That's the reality Porsha Williams found herself facing. And this time, there was no way to smile through it, no way to post a perfect picture and make everything look okay. Because behind the glam, behind the strong face she always shows the world, something inside her was breaking.
To record in the house?
Yes. So I did.
But it was your house.
Yes, our house. So, I mean, I know he's explained it 1,000 different ways online. He has documented our entire divorce on the Simon Show online, and then I have the Housewives, I suppose. But yeah, there is paperwork in place that would make it a marital property 50-50 split. Outside of that being enforced, it is a premarital property or whatever.
When the court made its decision about that mansion, it didn't just take away a house. It took away a sense of safety, a feeling she had been holding on to like it was finally her turn to have something stable. And what nobody expected was how deeply it would hit her. Because this wasn't just another headline or another moment of reality TV drama. This was personal. This was emotional. This was the kind of situation that forces you to sit in silence and ask yourself how everything went so wrong. People saw the tears, they saw the headlines, but what they didn't see was everything leading up to that moment. The trust, the belief, the hope that this time things would be different. And that's where the real story begins.
Because you're going through a divorce doesn't mean you hate someone. I hate actions, I hate lies, I hate a lot of characteristics, but I love the person, and I would never wish harm on anybody. And at the end of the day, I know that he's the type of person, he's a slithering snake. He's gonna find his way out of it. I'm sure he'll be fine.
Porsha has always been someone who wears her heart on her sleeve, even when the world judges her for it. From the very beginning of her public life, she's had to navigate relationships under a spotlight that never dims. Every decision, every romance, every mistake, it's all been watched, discussed, and picked apart by people who don't know her personally. And yet, through all of that, she kept searching for something real. She wanted love that felt secure. She wanted a life that wasn't built on chaos. She wanted a place where she could finally relax without feeling like everything could fall apart at any moment. That desire shaped so many of her choices. Over the years, she's been through relationships that didn't last, situations that forced her to defend herself, and moments where she had to rebuild her confidence from the ground up. It wasn't easy, but she kept going, believing that eventually she would find the stability she had been chasing.
Working now through this process for a whole year, and it's caught up with what I had to do. Right. So like emotionally, I feel like I'm ready to be done with it. I'm ready to heal, ready to move on.
So when Simon came into her life, everything seemed to shift. He didn't just bring attention, he brought a lifestyle that looked solid, secure, and promising. He presented himself as someone who could give her the kind of future she had been dreaming about. And Porsha leaned into that vision with everything she had. Their relationship moved quickly, faster than what many people were comfortable with. But for her, it felt right. It felt like something she didn't want to question too much because she had already spent so much time dealing with doubt. She wanted to believe. And when that mansion came into the picture, it became more than just a property. It became a symbol of a fresh start, a symbol of love, a symbol of finally having something that felt permanent. She decorated it, lived in it, shared moments from it, and allowed herself to feel at home in a way she hadn't in a long time.
I mean, my fans do respect I'm transparent. So even though it didn't turn out the story that I wanted to share, I still was open with what
Every corner of that space held a piece of her life, her energy, her belief that she had stepped into a new chapter.
But what she didn't realize at the time was that everything she was building her emotions on wasn't as secure as it seemed. Behind the scenes, there were cracks forming, financial issues, legal complications, responsibilities that weren't being handled the way they should have been, and those cracks didn't stay hidden forever. They grew. And by the time the truth started to surface, it was already too late to fix things quietly. But here's the twist. When things started falling apart between her and Simon, it didn't just stay between them. It turned into something much bigger, something colder, something that involved lawyers, paperwork, and decisions that would change everything overnight. The moment divorce became real, the tone shifted completely. What used to feel like partnership turned into opposition. What used to feel like shared space turned into a legal battle over who had the right to stay. And that's when Porsha found herself in a situation she never imagined, being told that the home she had emotionally invested in wasn't hers to keep. It didn't matter how many memories she had created inside those walls. It didn't matter how much of herself she had poured into that space. Legally, her name wasn't tied to it in a way that gave her control. And Simon made that clear. He pushed for her to leave. He made it known that she didn't have a right to stay there. And when she didn't immediately walk away, things escalated. The situation moved into the courtroom, and once it reached that point, it stopped being about emotions and started being about decisions that didn't consider how she felt. The court looked at documents, ownership, legal rights, facts that don't bend for feelings. And when the ruling came down, it was final. She had to leave. That moment hit harder than anyone could have predicted. Because standing there, hearing that decision, Porsha wasn't just processing a legal outcome, she was processing the collapse of something she believed in. And that's when the tears came. Not the kind of tears you can hide behind sunglasses or brush off with a quick explanation. These were real, heavy, emotional tears that come from a place deep inside. The kind that show you're overwhelmed, the kind that say, I didn't see this coming. And for someone who has spent years trying to stay strong in the public eye, that kind of vulnerability doesn't come easy. But in that moment, there was no holding it back, because everything she thought was secure had just been taken away. And what made it even more painful was the way it all unfolded. Instead of support, there was pressure. Instead of understanding, there were legal moves that forced her into a corner. Instead of working things out privately, everything played out in a way that made it impossible to ignore. It felt like betrayal on multiple levels. The man she trusted didn't stand beside her when things got difficult. The situation she believed was stable turned out to be fragile, and the life she showed the world wasn't as solid as she thought. That realization is enough to shake anyone. But for Porsha, it was happening with everyone watching. Every headline, every comment, every opinion from people who only see pieces of the story. And that kind of pressure adds another layer to the pain. Because it's not just about dealing with the situation, it's about dealing with how the world reacts to it. Some people showed sympathy, others judged. Some questioned her decisions, while others focused on what they believed she should have done differently. And through all of that noise, she still had to process her own emotions. She had to figure out how to move forward. She had to face the reality that the place she called home was no longer hers. And that's not something you just brush off. A home is more than walls and furniture. It's where you build your routine. It's where you feel safe. It's where you create moments that stay with you. So being forced to leave doesn't just affect your living situation. It affects your sense of stability. It makes you question everything. It makes you replay conversations in your head, wondering where things started to go wrong.
And for Porsha, that emotional weight didn't disappear once the decision was made. If anything, it got heavier, because now she had to start over, not just physically, but emotionally. She had to find a new space, a new sense of comfort, a new way to rebuild what she lost. And that's not easy when you're already dealing with heartbreak. Because at the center of all this is something deeper than property or legal battles. It's trust. She trusted someone with her heart, her future, her sense of security. And now she's facing the reality that that trust may have been misplaced. That kind of realization stays with you. It changes the way you see people. It makes you more cautious. It makes you question things you once believed without hesitation. And while she's strong, while she's proven time and time again that she can bounce back, this moment left a mark. You could see it in her reaction. You could feel it in the way the situation unfolded. This wasn't just another chapter in a dramatic storyline. This was a turning point. Because sometimes losing something forces you to see things more clearly. It strips away the illusion and leaves you with the truth. And as painful as that is, it can also be the beginning of something new. But that doesn't mean the pain disappears overnight. Right now, she's still in that space where everything feels fresh, where every memory attached to that home still lingers, where every moment of trust that led her there still feels real. And walking away from that isn't easy. It takes strength. It takes time. It takes a level of emotional resilience that not everyone understands. But if there's one thing Porsha has shown over the years, it's that she doesn't stay down forever. She feels deeply, she reacts honestly, and eventually she finds a way to move forward. And maybe that's where this story shifts. Maybe this isn't just about loss. Maybe it's about a reset, a chance to rebuild her life on a foundation that truly belongs to her, a chance to create something that no one can take away. Because sometimes the most painful endings lead to the strongest beginnings. And even though this moment is heavy, even though it brought her to tears, it doesn't define her entire story. It's just one chapter, one that hurts, one that changed her, one that forced her to face a truth she didn't want to see. But it's not the end. Because the real question now is what she does next. Does she let this moment break her completely, or does she use it as fuel to build something even stronger? One thing is clear, she's been through storms before, and somehow she always finds a way to stand again. So while the mansion may be gone, while the court decision may have closed one door, there's still another path ahead waiting for her. And knowing Porsha, she's not going to stay down for long. She's hurting, she's processing, she's starting over, but she's still standing. And sometimes that's the most powerful thing of all.